Hi, I'm Christian Brindle, and welcome to the Everything Medicare Podcast. What's up, Everything Medicare Podcast Nation, wherever you are and however you might be listening. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with me today on a Saturday. This is episode 156 of the Everything Medicare Podcast. If you're new to this show, every single week we bring you 3 podcast episodes where we discuss your Medicare, your Medicaid, your Social Security, and everything that has to do with that golden age called retirement. Thank you so much for taking some time on your weekend, nonetheless, to talk with me about one of my favorite topics in the whole wide world, and that being Medicare, folks. If you missed our episode on Monday and also on Wednesday, my new book, The Insurance Funnel, is here. I'm not going to talk about it too much. I've done that enough on Monday's episode, but The Insurance Funnel is here, folks. I've talked about it for months on this platform. It took me longer to get it out than I was expecting, but it is here. 9 tests that every insurance policy must pass in order to be worthy of purchase. It's a foolproof system that I've come up with to kind of help you in every single aspect of your insurance life, whether it be car insurance, homeowners insurance, life insurance, health insurance. It doesn't really matter. It works with everything. It's transitionable from different kind of insurance over to different kind of insurance. It's on Amazon. It's a beautiful blue book with a funnel on it. Go to Amazon and type in Christian Brindle, B as in boy, Rindle. A lot of you have purchased Medicare Guidance, picking the plan for you. If you liked that book, I think you're really going to love this one even more. It's going to help out a lot. It's going to be fantastic. So go over to Amazon and pick up The Insurance Funnel. Now let's get into it. So there is a time period, and we talked about this last year, but a huge portion of the audience at this point wasn't part of the audience last year around this time. And I talked about it a little bit in the episodes in the last month or so, but there's a time period called OEP that came into the equation last year. Now, OEP stands for Open Enrollment Period. As many of you know, people on Medicare can change their plans during the annual election period, AEP for short, as they call it in the industry. And that goes from October 15th through December 7th. And basically that time of the year is where Medicare Advantage and Part D prescription drug plans announce their changes for the upcoming year, taking effect January 1st on their particular plans. And people then have that small window to make changes on their plan if they don't like the changes, or let's say they've been on the plan for that year and they just haven't liked the way it's worked. Whatever the situation is, that is the time of the year that it's basically a free-for-all. People on plans can change, whether you're on a Medicare Advantage plan and you want to change to another Advantage plan, or whether you want to go from an Advantage plan to a Medicare Supplement plan, or whether you want to go from a Medicare Supplement plan with a drug plan to a Medicare Advantage plan. It's basically like open season, if you will. That's the time period that it can be done. But other than that, unless you had a life-changing event, and we did an episode about them in the past, recently, actually, I'd say I think we did it in 2020, I want to say. But unless you had a life-changing event, also known as a special enrollment period, you weren't able to change your plan outside of the annual AEP. Well, that changed starting at the beginning of 2019. They brought a new enrollment period into the forum called OEP. Like I mentioned, it stands for Open Enrollment Period. Now, OEP existed years ago. If I had to guess, probably about a decade ago. And it lasted for a little while. And then they decided to move it in a different direction, and then they decided to bring it back. That's what they do in the insurance industry, especially government-regulated insurance industry. But what OEP basically is, folks, it goes from January 1st to March 31st. Now, there are a lot of rules that come with OEP when it comes to insurance companies, when it comes to agents. People always ask me, well, Christian, why haven't I heard about this OEP? Simply put, there is not allowed to be any advertisement done about the OEP. None whatsoever. What I'm doing here today is not advertisement. No, this whole show is educational. Educational information brought to you 3 times a week on a weekly schedule. So this is educational. We are just informing you about the OEP to show you that you know what it's around. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services don't want you to not be aware of the OEP. They just don't want people to be able to use it as a marketing tactic. Okay, so if you've been on Medicare for some time, you might have noticed every year during the annual AEP from October 15th through December 7th, the enrollment period that we've had since the beginning of time, you might have noticed that during that time period, the advertisement is chaotic. It's unbelievable. It's overwhelming in terms of commercials, mailers. Some of you might have even received illegal cold calls, and some of those are illegal. It just depends on the particular situation. But the advertisement is intense. The insurance companies dump millions, sometimes tens of millions, sometimes even more than that, into their advertising for that short 2-month window, 2.5-month window. And because it's the time period where they can target anybody, basically. They can pick up more customers during the AEP than they can pick up the entire rest of the year. Because for the rest of the year, like I mentioned, they can only get new customers based on people aging in, turning 65 for the first time, which, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people doing that, or people that have life-changing events like SEPs. So they try to take advantage of the AEP by being in front of your face and bothering you. And that's okay. That's what companies do. Not just in the insurance world, but everything. I mean, isn't everything an advertisement nowadays? Most things. The insurance industry are no different. And so there's not allowed to be marketing, advertising, no commercials about OEP. It's highly illegal. So that's why you might have not heard about it before. Now, OEP is not like AEP. It's not like you can change in any particular situation and you can't change an unlimited amount of times. And there's some rules that have to go about it. I'll tell you what those are in our second segment after I take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. I'll tell you everything you need to know about the OEP, what you can do, what you can't do. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks so much for sticking with me through that break. Let's talk some OEP, shall we? OEP goes from January 1st through March 31st. If you make a change on a plan in OEP, it takes effect the first of the upcoming month. So if I was on Medicare, hypothetically speaking, and I made a change due to the OEP, right now, today, since we're in February, my new plan would take effect the 1st of March. Simple, right? See how that works. Now, once you make one change, you cannot change your plan again. It's a one-time thing. So if you do change anything, make sure that you want to do that. We've had clients of ours, that signed up for plans in the annual election period, AEP, and their needs have changed since then. Their doctor retired. They're having trouble finding another doctor. They start taking a new medication since the enrollment period ended that they find out isn't covered on their old plan. And it's a great situation because we're able to find them a new plan. It gives us flexibility to help them. They're not locked in until October of 2020. That's kind of what the OEP's been designed for. That's why they don't want advertising going on. But not every single person on Medicare can make a change to their plan due to the OEP. So this is who can and who can't. The people that can are people that are on Medicare Advantage plans. They can go from the Medicare Advantage plan they're already on to another Medicare Advantage plan, like I said, one time. Or they can go from a Medicare Advantage plan to original Medicare with a drug plan and a supplement if they can pass the underwriting on the supplements. So, can you make a change if you're on a supplement with a drug plan? Can you go to a Medicare Advantage plan? No! That's not against the rules. That's not allowed in OEP. The OEP is designed for Medicare Advantage. You can change a Medicare Advantage plan to something else one time. And that's it. It's very simple. And like I mentioned, anytime you make that change, it takes effect the first of the upcoming month. And it goes from January 1st through March 31st. It's important that you be aware of these kind of things, because there are situations where, you picked a plan in AEP. Let's say it was the best plan for you. Let's say it was a perfect fit. And something dramatically changes in your own needs and situations, like you're prescribed a new medication or something like that, and all of a sudden that plan's not a fit anymore. This happens all the time, every single year. This gives you an option where you can be flexible and make a change if you need to. Now, let's say you were sold into a plan that wasn't the best thing for you during AEP. That happens every year too. And you have no idea what you signed up for. The person that sold you the plan wasn't very thorough about it. You can make a change then in that particular situation. I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing for a lot of people, but no advertising. So this is not an advertisement. This is an educational podcast episode to inform you of how it works and that it's available to you. But this is not an advertisement to have you call my organization. Just want to preface my comments by saying that. Another thing, folks, about OEP that I want to encourage you to watch out for is we have seen a lot of agents, and I mean a lot of agents, breaking these advertisement rules by calling you out of the blue and trying to market to you with the OEP. Be very careful of those people. The reason why I say that is because, in my opinion, I think anybody that breaks rules and regulations, you can't trust them. Because if they're breaking a rule to get you as a customer, how many rules do you think they'll break when you are a customer that could impact you without you being at fault? Or they could even end up seeing themselves kicked out of the industry for breaking rules, their license being terminated, suspended, whatever the case might be, and then you're left with no agent. You never want to work with someone that's unethical or trying to break rules for any reason. Nothing good can come out of it. And you want to avoid these people. If anyone calls you up out of the blue and tells you about OEP and says, let me change your plan, I can change it to this, or I can beat your plan with this, or I can do this, or I can do this, or I can do this, they're breaking federal law. And do you want to do business with someone that breaks federal law? I don't. We don't break federal laws here. We don't. Some of our critics will say this podcast about is breaking federal law. It's not. It's by all means just an educational awareness thing. OEP is out there for the masses. As far as information is concerned, go Google OEP. It's plastered all over Medicare's website. Educational information about it, I should have you. It's not a secret, but you can't advertise about it. We understand that. We're not doing that. And we're not doing that here today. Don't go anywhere. I have some final thoughts for you in our third and final segment. I'll be right back after we hear from our sponsor this week. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. You don't want to miss how I want to wrap this puppy up. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks so much for sticking with me all the way to the end. Just wanted to give you some final thoughts on OEP. It's not designed for people to change like the annual election period is. It's basically designed for you to make a change if something unexpected happens, or maybe you were sold a plan and not told everything about it or something like that, which that happens all the time. It's designed to protect you. So just keep that in mind. Keep in mind it's there. And it's important for you to know about. I'm not going to be doing another episode about it other than this, though. So just keep that in mind. Okay. So, folks, before I let you go, I wanted to just encourage you that if you haven't done so already, go pick up the insurance funnel. I'm just so excited for this new project to come out. I think it's my best work as of yet. I think it's the best book I've ever come out with. I've come out with several books over the years, some that don't have to do with insurance. I came out with one years ago, just kind of to test the waters a little bit, it was about college and what young people should do and that kind of stuff, totally different audience and everything like that. But come out with that book, and we've gotten my books into thousands of people's hands over the years. But I think this book is more helpful, more impactful than any book that we've ever put out. And I think you're really missing out if you're not picking it up. I think you can save. The book's going to cost you $15. Okay. This is basically my infomercial for the insurance funnel, but the book's going to cost you $15. It could save you hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars a year in premiums. And it can save you hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars in getting things covered better that you didn't know wasn't covered well enough. It will put you in the mindset of what you need to look for. It'll point you in the direction of what you need to look for. And you can use this for anything. You might be listening to this and you might not even be on Medicare. This book can help you. Another thing I wanted to tell you is I'm going to be going on a little bit of a tour. I'm going on several different podcasts as a guest. And I will let you know when that is and what shows that I will be appearing on. If you wanted to go check out my guest appearances on these other episodes, I'm going to be doing it to kind of promote the insurance funnel. I do not do guest appearances. I've been asked. I don't do it. Okay. We have a lot of people come on our show. And they're very gracious about it. But as far as other insurance-based podcasts, we've had a couple people come on that do other podcasts, but not a whole lot. We've had people want to have me come on as a guest on their show, and I've never really had an interest in doing it before, but I am doing it now to make sure that we spread awareness about the insurance funnel. So I'm booked on 2 podcasts as we speak, but I'm in the talks of going on about 2 to 3 more, and I highly encourage you to check out those episodes. Once it gets a little closer, I'll tell you which shows I'm going to be on, where to find them, and you can kind of hear my guest appearance. And I'll be in a vulnerable position, folks. I will be in a situation where I don't have control, where it's not my platform. People might press me. Who knows what's going to happen? Who knows? It's going to be chaotic potentially. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I hope you, the audience, like it quite a bit. So that's what I have to say about that. Thank you so much for taking some time, folks, to be with us here today. If you enjoyed this episode or any episode we've ever done in the past, do me a favor. If you're listening to us on a platform that allows you to do so, leave us a 5-star review and maybe a little comment on what you've enjoyed about the podcast. I love hearing from you, and it helps us reach more people just like you that need to hear our message, that desperately need help with their Medicare, that are just confused and lost. There's millions of people in that boat in the country right now as I talk to you. So help us reach them. You can make a difference by leaving us a review. It helps more people be able to find us easier. Until next time, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and thank you for spending a little bit of it with me. I'll be back with you with an episode on Monday. As always, take care.